Category Pirates presents Superconsumer AI Agents. Turn your greatest customers into AI agents so you never go astray. Written by Eddie Yoon, Christopher Lochhead, and Katrina Kirsch. Read by Eddie Yoon's AI. When Harley-Davidson announced in 2020 that Johann Zeitz, a man with no motorcycle background, would take the helm as CEO, there was backlash. What did he know about American culture or Harley, one of the most cult-like brands in the world? Nothing. He was the CEO of Puma in Germany. Under Zeitz, people publicly destroyed their Harley bikes. Influencers shared their outrage on social media. Riders boycotted biker gatherings like the infamous Sturgis rally. Longtime Harley super consumers, the riders with the eagle patches, road-worn leather, and bar and shield tattoos, were already uneasy. The pandemic had closed assembly lines and dealerships. Sales sagged. Now, the company's most sacred seat was going to someone without a motorcycle license. Imagine running one of the most storied motorcycle brands without a visceral, lived connection to what it feels like to lean into a curve, throttle open, wind tearing at your jacket. It was a deep category disconnect. Zeitz brought a track record in shoe fashion and sustainability, not oil-stained knuckles or the thrill of leaning a V-twin into a sweeping curve. He made moves that looked to the Harley faithful like heresy, canceling bike projects they'd been waiting on, putting sustainability and DEI initiatives front and center, a strategy aimed at wealthier global buyers instead of the core American rider. Some called it woke, others called it corporate suicide. The reaction revealed something deeper than politics or product roadmaps. Harley had drifted from its super consumers, the hardcore, lifestyle committed riders who are custodians of the company's soul. For decades, Harley had been a master at selling more than motorcycles. It sold belonging, status, and a shared language of chrome and rumble. You didn't just buy a Harley, you joined the club. That bond is why thousands of riders have Harley-Davidson tattoos. It's also why any move that betrays that bond sets off alarms loud enough to rattle the Milwaukee headquarters. Now let's compare Zeitz to a different executive. When Gibson named Cesar Gawakian as CEO, musician Slash nailed the reaction. I can't think of a more natural fit for CEO of Gibson than Cesar Gawakian. He's one of, if not the smartest and most passionate Gibson guitar enthusiasts I've ever met, and he is a keen businessman. You can't go wrong. Why does this matter? Because Gawakian isn't just running Gibson. He's a super consumer of guitars. He lives the product. He bleeds the category. He knows what makes a Les Paul magic, what turns a guitar into a religion, what players obsess over. No one needs to explain why Gibson is a cult brand to Mr. Gawakian because Cesar is already in the cult. Now contrast that with another outsider, Terry Semel, the CEO of Yahoo from 2001 to 2007. The $5 trillion category blind spot. In 2001, Yahoo was the internet. Then they hired Terry Semel. Terry was a Hollywood exec in Silicon Valley, not a search guy, not a super consumer. And because he didn't get the behaviors driving digital media, Yahoo missed Google and Facebook. Terry made a $5 trillion mistake. Google in 2002, Facebook in 2006. Both deals were on the table, both ignored. Imagine being the CEO who could have purchased both Google and Facebook but passed. To lead a category, you have to love the category, not manage it, not study it, love it, be a super consumer of it. Rarely can people groomed in the status quo see a different future. Never mind category design the markets of the future, and rarely can people who are not super consumers of the category lead the category. Today, Google, $3 trillion. Meta, $2 trillion. Yahoo, $5 billion. That's a $4,995 billion mistake. Why? Because Semel wasn't a super consumer. And if you don't know, or worse, aren't the super consumer of your category, you cannot see the future. The law is simple. Super consumers pull categories forward. Leaders who ignore them get left behind. Lose your super consumers, lose your category. Zeitz wasn't the first leader to underestimate this truth, and he won't be the last. Trust erodes when leadership isn't rooted in the lived experience of its best customers, or when a company's strategy starts chasing new markets without carrying its supers along. Sales follow. Harley's revenue down 11% to $5.2 billion. Motorcycle shipments down 17%. Harley's stock got crushed. Super consumers are not a nice to have. You need supers in your customer base, CRM and data analysis, sales training and activation, marketing and lightning strikes in your C-suite, board of directors, and investor base. It's the difference between creating category-defining loyalty and engineering your own backlash. To be fair to Harley, it is hard enough to find a qualified CEO, much less a CEO who is also a super consumer. But great CEOs spend more than half their time with customers. Legendary CEOs have their supers on speed dial. Thanks to AI, a CEO can talk with super consumers every day. AI gives you the ability to capture your super's voice, instincts, desires, behaviors, and emotional drivers like never before. Every conversation, data point, transaction, and social media post from a super can be uploaded as training material to AI. Sadly, too much of the hype around AI and consumers and market research is not centered on supers. Companies are feeding AI the wrong inputs of average customers and generic market research. Do this, and you won't just get bland ideas, you'll get the obvious onslaught. Soon, the market will be flooded with AI insights trained on generic internet scraping, unsegmented customer inputs, and average survey data. This obvious AI will always default to the safe and stale. Drop the price, make the logo bigger, copy what's trending. It's not malicious. The machine just doesn't know any better, which is why the companies that win in the AI era will be the ones who bottle their supers first. They'll feed their AI the instincts, preferences, quirks, and non obvious insights of the people who spend the most, evangelize the loudest, and shape the future of the category. If you're in the C suite or aspiring to get there and get hit with the obvious onslaught, your career is at risk of sinking to the bottom of the ocean. Harley showed how costly that can be. While AI can help you avoid the Harley-Davidson problem, be careful to dodge the obvious onslaught with obvious AI. The best way to avoid it is to train your AI with supers, not average customers. However, this is harder than you might think due to two sad truths. Too many CEOs barely spend any time with super consumers. Too few AI advisors get why super consumers matter. Let's dive into both.